and then he runs out the door.
Yes,
But
yes.
if you
That
have
was
anything to say
funny.
about any of that, you know.
Yeah. That was funny, but yeah, in a way that I mean, I think some of that is the style of the storytelling. According to the introduction, there's no extra kinds of stuff in these stories. Like they contrasted them to how uh, I think Peralt and the Grimm and definitely the Grimm brothers kind of like litterized these a little bit and sanitized them a little bit and kind of smooth the edges and added the once upon a time and things like that. And these stories are more raw and more just the not quite the data, but something like just the data that you need to kind of
Mm.
have a good story and, some kind of wisdom for life and including some kind of personal transformations that you need to deal with problems in yourself and in the world. So it's just here's here is like wisdom with a narrative structure which we're made to totally take in and remember. Like this is the way we remember stuff. We don't remember like lists of terms and complex like philosophical kinds of conceptions and things. We remember stories, and that's what we can take with us to kind of help us in life, and and also transmit the culture and help others and younger ones and things like that.
Yeah, yeah, well said. Um,
But
yeah,
yeah, I like that. Yeah, tremendous energy. Yeah, because isn't a lot of like Jung kind of about like basically sort of healing and getting. This is a very big generalization, but like sort of like
kind of have to.
uh
Yeah,
and sort of like healing and getting in touch with the primitive kinds of things that sort of civilization and other human beings and stuff sometimes like screw up basically and in ourselves, and getting in touch with all that stuff and then releasing and having and just kind of being able to flow in life and kind of be like a more natural, present, compassionate, happy, and fully embodied and in touch with yourself human being. Is that sort of like an okay like generalization kind of?
I, I would think so. Yeah, I wouldn't I wouldn't say much to add to it. Maybe um, there is a strong element in Jung of things that are present in the psyche but repressed or see felt to be separate, and
Yes,
the
yes,
the
yes,
sort
yes.
of individual journey of changing that relationship so that we are at least a community inside of ourselves rather than
Yes.
a group of strangers, or
Yeah.
alchemized into your own being. That's where I don't know how, if you can pick one or the other, but it's just it is this sort of separation of ourselves from ourselves,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
And yes, comparing that to community inside, of course, that goes back to Plato, and scholars to this day like debate. No, he's really talking about politics. No, 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 he's not. He's talking about the mind only. But yeah, it's such a good way to think about yourself, because yes, you obviously kind of have different parts of yourself. In modern psychology, the experiments have shown that with like alien hand syndrome and stuff, really weird and interesting kinds of things. But yeah, and it's a good way to envision like health, because if you can imagine like a small community of people, kind of they have different roles and they get along with each other and they have arguments and they have different priorities, but there's an essential kind of intermixing, and there isn't if one part is getting too big for its britches or really depressed and everything, like people kind of like don't ignore that person, like they're not strangers.
Yeah, Yeah, yeah,
And then there's a vibrancy to when everybody gets along. And also, of course, they can come together for bigger projects that the community wants to address and threats and everything from the outside and stuff.
yeah,
So,
yeah, yeah. Well, I love that.